Hey y'all, welcome back to Daydream Manor Flower Farm. I'm Dawn, I live in South Louisiana, and on today's video, let's talk about what's happening in the tunnel and my plan for the fall. Well, hey y'all, welcome into the kitchen because, again, too darn hot out there. I am trying to get back on my schedule of filming. I have just been all over the place the last couple of weeks. And I guess because, let me back up for a minute. So if you're new here, I am a flower farmer in South Louisiana. This is the hottest time of the year for us. This is my 7th year farming, and I made a decision several years ago that I would shut my farm down second week of June and through July and August. It's just too hot to be outside. And if I had to water everything 3-4 times a week, it would cost me a fortune. And so I just kind of shut everything down, have a small patch of flowers in my high tunnel that I kind of keep just to kind of limp along, because I do have a couple of standing orders every month, so I need to be able to fill those. I have some heirloom mums that I am growing, and so those are in the tunnel. I keep up with those. And I'm doing an experiment with some Lisianthus. Nothing is out in my flower field. I'm letting it kind of just be. And I'll do a soil test on it, which I'll talk about in a second. So anyway, it has just been it's just been way too hot. And when I say I feel like I've been all over the place, it's really because I know I have about 10 to 12 weeks where I'm not babying flowers, where I'm not having to be out there every day. And so I try to get a lot of work done that is behind the scenes, my back office, things that need to be taken care of in the house, all of those things, like catching up. I have the online boutique. So that website is constantly moving, constantly marketing, adding new products, shipping product orders out, all those things. And then I am a vendor at the boutique here in town. And so, and that takes time. So it is just that time of year where I try to do as much as I can and get ahead, because I know come October, November, I'm going to be starting seeds and I will be planting out cool season. So the cycle just kind of starts over before we get into the holiday season. So I think I feel like sometimes it's just a lot to cram in to this space, but it's got to get done. So with that said, let's talk about a few things that I've decided to do. One, fall flowers. Okay, I have the heirloom mums. You know, last year those did not bloom until November 1. I wanted them in October. I didn't get them till November 1. But so that had me thinking about, okay, what can I do? What should I do? So I think this weekend I am going to, I say this weekend, in the next couple of days. Right now we're in this heat dome that is unfreaking believable. It's like, with the real field temperature, it's like 107 to 110 degrees outside. So I'm hoping in a couple of days that's going to break and the temperatures will drop a little bit. But I think I'm going to direct seed a few marigolds and some sunflowers and have them timed out to start blooming in that October window. Now, I'm not going to start seedlings now. I have tried in prior years and get them started, that's fine. But when I move them into the field or into the tunnel, they just don't survive. One day they'll look great, the next day they're over. They're just done. And so that's just not worth my time or my resources. So I am going to direct seed and we'll see how that goes. So that's going to happen in the next few days. And I don't know. The other thing is the Lisianthus that I have left. I've gotten another flush. Of course, they're blooming right now, and really don't have a market in July to sell to. And let me say, because normally here, especially weddings and that, they don't really happen in July. It's just, it's hot. So my florists even kind of take off in July. So I think I'll just cut them, go put them at the boutique, see if I can sell a few bouquets. I'm just going to go with that. So that's kind of being, I got to get that done. But what I'm going to do is with those is I'm going to go ahead and harvest everything and then cut all of the rest back. Give them a little dose of fertilizer, and I'm going to continue watering them, especially the Roseanne Browns, because I love that color for fall. And I'm going to see if I can get another flush by fall. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. So I'm just going to play around with them and see what that looks like. But it's just too dang hot to be out there doing things. So I thought about trying to keep up with the weeds in the field, in the boxes in the field, and I'm just not that interested. But what it's going to be is when it's time for me to go get those beds ready, it's going to take me a little longer. But if that's fine, because I'm not going to mess with them until probably late September, early October. I am going to do my soil test just so I can see where I'm at on it. I'm going to do one in the flower field and one in the tunnel beds, and get ready to start what I need to do to amend those for fall planting. The goal is to do all of my cool season flowers out the week of Thanksgiving. I just choose that week because I'm off. And that's the week I just get it all done. So I'll start seeds probably the 1st of October through the 10th, probably the first 2 weeks of October. I'll get seeds started. And then have them ready, the first planting to go out in that week of Thanksgiving. Then I'll do a succession sometime in January to get those to go out for like March for our last frost, which will be around the 15th of March. So those are the things that are going to happen and how I'm going to plant out. I will tell you, I met with my other 2 flower farmer friends, and we did a seed swap yesterday. We met up and just had a late coffee, and we all had seeds that have just been sitting for the last year or so, maybe even in some cases 2 years. And we were like, you know what, let's just swap them around. Who wants to try it? And we had enough quantity that you can try to do a cup, maybe 200 of something or 100 of something, and check and see the germination. Because y'all know the older the seed, the less germination you get. But so we spent like 2 hours yesterday going through all of our seeds, and I brought my list that I had that I was willing to share. So we did that. It also gives us the opportunity to test some things that we've not grown before. I got a few things from Samantha and Karen, and we just going to experiment on our own to see how that looks. So that was fun. It's always fun to meet up with them and do things like that. And we also met to plan our spring, talking about dance recital bouquets, Mother's Day, like what do we need for those? Because now is the time you've got to order a lot of that stuff. So you can have it, plant it for this fall, or be ready for it to go in at the earliest February, March. So got that taken care of. And that's what I'm saying. I have been getting things done. It just seems like it's everywhere. I live and die by my to-do list right now, I swear. The other fun thing I want to share with y'all, so this is our local community magazine. In this one, it was kind of fun. I was featured in this. So the article was called Plant Ladies, but it really was about women who thrive in male-dominated industries. And so myself and 4 other women that work in the chemical industry across our area in various roles were featured, and I got to talk about the flower farm, so that was really fun. That was my exciting news this month. I did the interview several months ago, and I've just been waiting for it to come out, so that was super fun. I was excited to get that. It did help with my I got some new subscribers on my website. So those, and then I shared it all over, but so kind of excited about that. What else is happening? Y'all, let me tell you what happened yesterday to Mr. Daydream. And ugh. So we sit on 10 acres out here, and we bush hog. I know some of you say brush hog. We say bush hog down here in the South. Twice a year. Well, it's way past due right now. And Mr. Daydream hooked up the tractor yesterday, the implement, and he was just going to do like just one time around the property, just to test everything out, because he hadn't moved the tractor in several months. And so he jumped on, and about 30 minutes later he came inside, and he was visibly shaken. And he just looked at me and said, I had a near-death experience. And I'm like, oh my God, what? And I'm like, just sit, and I'm like, did you almost turn over? And he was like, no, nothing like that. Normally when he is on the tractor, and I will say, this is the first time I've seen him not dressed like this. He usually wears his long sleeve shirt, his long pants, leather boots. He has a hat on because he's had some skin cancer on his face. So he takes every precaution. And for whatever reason, when he jumped on it yesterday just to take it around the field once, he just had on his shorts and tennis shoes. So that's how he was dressed. Well, he came around the side and he realized a piece of equipment had fallen. And he stopped and he got off the tractor to go look for this piece. And y'all, when I say the grass is high, in some places, I mean, and this is where there's no traffic through it. I mean, it's just it's in a pasture off to the side of us. It's 5 foot tall at least. I mean, you probably couldn't see me if I walked through it. He said he started kicking around, and he said right when he thought about it, he was like, why am I in this grass with shorts and tennis shoes on? Because that's something he just doesn't do. Because we also have ticks and deer ticks out here, which some of them have Lyme disease. So when I tell you, he is uber careful about this, and this was just a fluke that he didn't. And he was like, ooh, let me get back on the tractor. This is not smart. And so when he got on the tractor and he looked down, about 3 foot from where he was standing was a coppermouth. And he said he just sat there for a minute, and then he kind of rolled over it several times. But y'all, because I asked him, I said, what would you have done? And y'all would have to know Mr. Daydream. This is how I describe, and people who know us will describe us. I am like the interstate, and he is like the school zone. That is our personalities, and we are very polar opposites. And he said, well, they tell you got to be calm, and if you get bit. And he's like, I don't think I would have been calm. And I was like, well, hell no, I wouldn't have been calm. But, it made us stop and think for a minute, because I was like, what would you have done? And he said, I guess I would have gotten off and come. And he said, I guess I would have gotten up and walked or run over here to get you. And I'm like, did you have your phone on you? And he was like, well, no, because why would he have it on the tractor? You can't hear it anyway. And we were both talking about that. It's like, probably need to have our phones on us. Because I did think about that. Like last month I was outside, I was home alone, and I was working outside, and I was like, God, if I fell out here and couldn't get up, who would know? Like when he got home, he would obviously know, but I could lay out there for hours. So now I make sure I bring my phone with me when I'm out, so I can at least call someone if something happens. So we just were talking about that, and it was like, God, that was just crazy. And thankfully he had a little protection around him or whatever. But y'all, I have seen so many, and this was the other thing. We had just talked about this like a couple of weeks ago. People just talking about those. Y'all, and I am so afraid of snakes. I am like deathly afraid. I can't even scream when I see one. It's that bad. And so we had just talked about that, like people just reporting so many, because couple of days ago he came in. I usually cut my tunnel because I have the grass pathways in there, and I have like a little push mower that I use, but not even an electric one of the old-timey ones, and it got away from me, and I can't push through it. I just don't have that kind of strength, so he's got to go in there and cut. And when I say, and look, those mowers, if the grass is this tall, it's hard to push, and so that's about how tall it is, but it's tall enough. And I asked him, I said, can you go in there and cut? And he was like, yes. And when he came back in, he told me, he said, okay, I need to tell you something. And I was like, oh my God, if it was a snake in there, don't tell me. Like, sometimes I just don't want to know. And he said it was, but it was just a grass snake. And I was like, okay. But I always wear my boots when I'm out. If the grass is over my shoe, I'm going to wear my boots anyway, because I am afraid of snakes. And my grass usually stays very cut, and we're trying to kill some of it off, so it's not that bad. But y'all, I woke up at like 11:30 last night, because thank you, menopause. And that was the first thing on my mind, was what would I have done if he would have gotten bit? I mean, that just scared the crap out of me. And for him, and I think what scared me more was his reaction to it. Because he's so calm and he's like a manly man. Like, this is the man, y'all, kid you not. He ordered his own suture kit off of Amazon, and he keeps it in his shop, so if he ever needs to put stitches, he'll just stitch himself up. Like, this is who he is. And for me to have seen him as shaken up as he was, as shook up as he was, that bothered me. So, y'all, if you were in an area where you have have those things happen, just be aware, be safe. I was watching Daniel at Petal Pickers. He had one in his house, and it was just a black snake. Doesn't matter to me. Good, bad, indifferent, doesn't matter. Snake is a snake. And it was on his, like on a ledge on his second floor in the house. And I mean, yeah, it's just scary. So anyway, I know, totally off topic, but just kind of a reminder to be safe when you're out. Keep alert. Especially if you have tall grass around you or live by a wooded area. We have seen several water moccasins, because we have a bayou that skirts our property, and so we've seen those. We've had cottonmouths, which those are a little bit better, because at least they give you a warning. You know, their mouth goes open, you can see them, you kind of hear them, but go. It was just an adventure. So anyway, that is what is happening here. Next up, I am going to go get the direct seating done in the next few days. Hopefully we'll get a little break from this heat, and we'll see how that goes. If it works, it works. If it doesn't, I'm not losing anything. Oh, the curcuma is starting. Okay. So I have been growing. I need to show y'all some pictures of that. Next video, I'll go out into the tunnel and do it. I bought curcuma, and I have them, and they are starting to bloom. Here's the problem. I don't need them to bloom now. I'm just like, and I'm new to it, so I don't know a whole lot about it. But it is starting to bloom now. I really wanted it to bloom October-ish, but we'll see. It's still early. I'm going to cut. I got to go see when to harvest them. I want to do some vase life testing, but they're beautiful. Y'all, they are absolutely beautiful. So, gonna take care of that. I'll do that on the next video, so y'all can see. If anybody has growing curcuma for cut flowers, let me know. I'd love to hear your experience. So I think that's all for right now. I am off to, I've got to get up to the boutique today. I've got to go water plants there. So one thing after another, y'all. It's always something. All right. I hope you all have a fantastic week, and we will talk again soon. See ya.